Okay, good morning all. Once again, welcome to the knowledge sharing session brought to you by PMIPCC Hyderabad chapter. I am Arvind, your host for today's session. Manikanta is supporting me today as a co-host. Before we begin, a quick, notes. Kindly use the chat window, to network and share your thoughts. Use the Q&A to post any questions. We will take the questions to the end of the speaker's session. And whoever provided a valid PMI member ID with the first name and last name according to the PMI profile, one PDU will be automatically credited within the 2 weeks. We encourage open discussion. Please keep the comments respectful and onto the topic. The session recording will be posted to the PMIPCC YouTube channel probably in the next couple of days. And we want everyone to stay until end of the program. We will have a few announcements. And to the end, we will do a digital selfie at the end of the webinar. Please make sure everyone is prepared to turn on their cameras to the end of the webinar. So without any further delay, let's start today's session about geopolitical intelligence for construction PMs. Our esteemed speaker shall enlighten us on the need of geopolitical intelligence to manage the risk in construction projects through the PMI'S M.O.R.E framework. Our speaker, Mr. Sesha Sai, has over 30 or 3 decades of experience in a corporate real estate, project management, P&L leadership. He is a passionate advocate for the PMI. Earlier leadership roles include as a managing director at Savills Hyderabad, as a country director at BGIS, and as a director PMO at JLL, where he was part of India's project delivery leadership roles. He served as a board member of PMI Bengaluru chapter and the founder of Engineering and Construction Forum. Currently, Sesha Sai is leading a workplace design and construction division for one of the India's, the MNC, as a corporate office portfolio, where he is ensuring that global design standards are thoughtfully adopted to the Indian context. And also, our speaker is volunteering as a construction lead for global construction lead for the PMI South Asia, strengthening our construction and infrastructure ecosystem across the region. He holds multiple accreditations. He is a alumni of JNTU Hyderabad, IGNO, and School of Business, UC Berkeley. He is a certified PMP and a well-accredited professional. With that said, we are looking forward to learn and gain insights from the Sesha Sai experience. So I would like to hand over the session to Sesha Sai.
Thank you, Arvind. Thank you, PMI chapter, for giving me, Pearl City chapter, for giving me this opportunity to share my thoughts and observations in the true spirit of sharing knowledge. I think more and more conversations happen around such topics. Initially, when I thought about this topic, I was a bit skeptical whether there will be enough interest and material to share. but I thought the whole idea is to instigate that conversation and bring little awareness. And many of you must be PMI members, must be great credential holders. You might have heard of the M.O.R.E framework that was launched last year. And a quick poll, or I would say on a chat window, you can mention how many of you heard about it. If you heard of M.O.R.E framework, it will be interesting to hear. You can type yes if you heard. If you have not heard of it, you can type no. Use chat. Yeah. So today I will be bringing together these two aspects. One is the M.O.R.E framework, and second about the geopolitical situations across the world. We are not getting into politics. We are getting into what is happening around the world and how it is impacting the projects. So we will be covering some of these aspects. And when I take it through the M.O.R.E framework, initially it may look a little mixed up. Stay with me because the whole idea of doing the projects is changing. It is no more doing meeting the triple constraint of time, cost, and scope. Okay, it is actually, instead of following the process, it is about the outcomes and benefits. Okay, so let me share my screen. Somebody may be wondering whether I forgot. No, I have not forgotten to share the screen. I'll just share it now. Okay. Just a quick check, Arvind, if you can help me. Is my screen visible? I'm clean audible?
Yes, you're loud and
Great.
clear, and we can see the screen.
Yes, nice. So see, most of you heard these things happening around the world. Different disruptions are happening, and this is impacting different way. The materials are coming late, the shipping costs are going up, or there is no material available. In fact, we are foreseeing with the destruction that happened in the recent disturbance in the Middle East, West Asia, what they call the factories or the production places are they got damaged. It will take anywhere between 6 months to 5 years to repair and bring them back. I was speaking to a couple of colleagues who do this kind of projects in Middle East, and they say even a small disturbance, it goes through complete, they will have to redo, and it is causing a lot of hardship. And also, this has led to a lot of countries drawing from their reserves. So now those countries are going back to refill the reserve. That means their petroleum and other products which got impacted, they are going to buy more when it is available. So there is a shortage of material it's going to continue. Even if tomorrow complete peace comes back, it will take time. I'm sure many of you must have read this in the newspapers. And if you see, if you touch and feel, each one of you wherever you are sitting, I'm sure you will see more than 5 things that are made of hydrocarbons. Okay, if you are sitting on a table with a laminate, the laminate comes from the hydrocarbon, plastics, the different chemicals are there. The paint is having, okay, thinners and all those are again hydrocarbons. Entire rubber plastic industry, okay, not entire rubber, but there is a plastics industry. Okay, so like this, if you see, it is not just about diesel, petrol, gas, and there are many byproducts that are, we will be speaking about second order, third order impact. So some of you might have heard that the ceramic tile manufacturing got impacted because we don't have a LPG gas. So who would immediately assume that tiles will be short supply because gas is not there? Because those furnaces where they use, it is gas. So I will be sharing. So we need to think about not one area, and there is shipping lines. Ships got stuck. There were more than 100 ships got stuck in that Hormuz area where they could not come out nor go in. That means things. There is only, these are all like our projects. This is not something that you can produce overnight. So it started with COVID, in fact. If you say COVID time, everything got stuck. So nothing was moving and there was absolutely no material available. But because it was an extended, entire world got stuck, people easily to understand. But when it starts happening bits and pieces in small ways, it becomes difficult. Some of you might still remember that big ship called Evergreen got stuck in the Suez Canal for about 6 days, and all the material got stuck. And it is not 6 days impact. It had about 1 month impact because a lot of ships were stuck. They took a detour via Cape, and all that happened. And when war started between Russia and Ukraine, the nitrogen and explosives were all sucked up by those factories making the munitions. So again, that impacted a lot of other mining and construction industry. It was not available. So these are the things. If there is a shortfall, it has somewhere something else is sucking up those resources. Okay. So afterwards, that Houthis who when they attacked Red Sea, then the shipping again, it is not about time. It is also insurance cost. It is a fuel cost. So, and the whole thing is that if something is taking earlier to 10 days, now it is taking 20 days, your capacity is come down. You have only so many ships in the world. You can't build them overnight. These take 3 to 4 years to build these big, large ships. So, apart from increasing the cost and the insurance premiums and other things, the capacity constraint happens. Recently, we imported some material, and it instead of coming in 3 months, it came in 4.5 months because of the all such factors. So this is happening most of our projects in most of the times, and also there are certain risks are there, concentration risks. If you are getting all the material from west of your from Europe or some other place, and if that area disturbance, it doesn't mean that from Asia you can get, because we may not be getting that. Some raw material, some other material will be going either from the Middle East to China or Taiwan or Vietnam, and from there the finished goods will be coming. So all these products are not necessarily made at one place. There is a so I keep coming back to this idea of thinking about second order, third order impact. Okay, so as a project management professionals, we need to keep thinking, okay, if this is happening, where is this get connected? So that is what the earlier anecdote goes, that if it rains in Beijing, in New York, butterflies flutter. Okay, so this is how the world is connected. These are called second order, third order, fourth order impacts. And so the more we are able to connect the dots and train ourselves to see them, and more risks are there in the world. So these are all what happened. And there are many other hot pockets in the world, both in the political spectrum and also trade spectrum, business. And then there are other things which are the resource constraints are pulling, like there is a solar panels, and then rare earth materials, then copper prices have gone up like anything. So how, and these resources are not abundant, they are not free flowing the way that we assume. These are all controlled by few people, few companies, or few countries, and anything happening in that place will constrain the supply to the entire world. And many of times, as it is with our human body, for the world system, you might have seen that if you don't have sodium, if you don't have magnesium or some B12, so that is having no second, third order effect in your health. They say that even if you take other medicines, they don't work because your B12 is bad. So nobody knows, initially these are things which are misunderstood or ignored. Oh, no problem, I am doing exercise, so vitamin D is not a problem. So these are the things, like similar way in our materials and products. Material is one part of it, and then manpower is another part we will come to, because visa restrictions, ability to go. There are many projects. If you open up and see newspapers or search in the internet, you will see, and some of that I picked up as I was preparing, that how the projects and material availability prices are going up. So that is the context in which I wanted to bring up. But about sharing this general information is one part. And second part, as I mentioned earlier, that more framework is a very powerful framework PMI is propagating now. And I want each one of you, whether you are a part of PMI ecosystem or otherwise, to certainly look up this. There is enough good material available on YouTube and the internet. What is a more means, and I will be sharing some of it with you. Okay, so as you can see, this imported component varies by project type and specifications and complexity. And when we are speaking about projects, we are speaking about multiple types of project. It can be buildings, it can be roads, it can be factories, data centers. So depending upon the nature of the project, this cost will vary. But if you know, our metro projects are impacted because you don't have the TBM boring machines. Okay, we get elevators, we get chillers, a lot of high performance glass. Okay, so all these switch gears, all these things are coming from abroad, or at least components of them are coming from abroad, and their availability is dependent on the further downstream effects that are having, whether it is it is not only about material and manpower, also trade barriers and tariff and non-tariff barriers that we have. Even India is also having those barriers because we want to protect our country's economy and industry, and so is other countries are doing it. So how these things impact availability? There used to be no, we will cover about quality control orders regime. So any material coming into India needed a BIS certificate. So that added a lot of complexity and timeline. Second is about the critical materials I spoke about, rare earths, which you might have seen how China has stopped supplying rare earths to USA, and that triggered a whole thing. So they have a leverage. Do we have a leverage in India? How steel, copper prices? Okay, so these things have impacted. And like I mentioned, cobalt and lithium, these are the materials which we don't speak so much. But today, with electrification, with the electrical vehicles, and everything becoming no electrified, this is becoming more and more sensitive, and we will see more and more impact of this as we go. Many of you might remember semiconductor chips, how they have impacted our industries. We used to, car deliveries went up to 1 year during the COVID time because chips were not available. Everything got diverted to gaming and the computers and everything whatnot. But this is not the end of it. Today, in fact, worldwide, the data center boom is happening so much. Some of the US-based data centers will be delayed by up to 5 years because they are not getting enough switch gears. And is it a deliberate or is it a supply constraint? Anybody's guess. Because this is how the things work. Okay, so somewhere somebody has a hold on it and they keep it. Sometimes there are genuine capacity constraints. If you are building so much, today they say that if they are building so many data centers, they don't have enough chips and computers to actually put into those data. We are building the boxes, but are there enough computers to fill in this? So there are many variables are there. We as a project managers cannot solve for or think about everything, but we need to have that awareness. Okay. Then Bangalore itself, there was a recent news item that road projects got delayed. Bitumen is becoming short supply. Okay. And there was a Adani project in Madhya Pradesh which got delayed because commissioning agencies could not come because of some disturbances, and it was supposed to happen Q1 of 26, now got pushed to 28 of 2028. So these are many things like that it happens. So most of current high-tech and large-scale projects are dependent on several international connections, and how these things impact or no is what the purpose of today's conversation. And feel free to keep your questions and your observations in the chat window. There must be many other knowledgeable professionals in the room, and we together share the knowledge and in the true spirit of this platform, knowledge sharing platform. want to learn and benefit from each other. So I was speaking about more framework, and the more stands actually for MORE stands for 4 specific words. When I first heard this, if anybody is hearing this for first time, it may look a little ambiguous or know what it means. But stay with that. This is as I kept learning about this, it changed my perspective about as a project manager how we look ourselves. M is the managing perceptions. Okay, so perceptions is reality. In fact, we are in a matrix. You remember that movie? So entire thing is about the perceptions. And own success is actually benefits delivery. We were speaking about in the project management also. It is not about the metrics, it is about the benefits management. But actually, how that value is given, value delivery, is owning the success. Okay, and relentlessly reassess. That is for R. This environment around is changing always. So how we can keep the project safe against all those external environment by reassessing our options, risks, and change management. All those things are required. So it is not a static environment. So how we can manage it? And expanding the perspective is the E. We cannot, a project cannot be delivered in a box. It is actually when you see from the big picture, that is why project managers' ability to zoom in and zoom out from the situation is extremely important. See the big picture, what we say. Okay, so this is that aspect of it. When we bring this kind of a, these are the 4 pillars. When we bring these 4 pillars into our project processes, our metrics, templates, and all that, our conversations. In PMI, we have knowledge areas, we have process groups, we have life cycle stages. All those things will beautifully fit into this 4-pillar framework. That is why what we say now is maximizing project success to elevate the world. I'll play now a 3 minutes video by PMI's current president and CEO, and he speaks about role of project management, how it is evolving, and then we go into further conversation.
Audio is not coming. Sesha.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is it not coming?
Yeah.
I will reshare. I think I didn't share with computer screen.
The world depends on projects to build what's next. And in fact, projects even matter more than ever. We are living through massive disruptions. We're living through profound transformations of business models, of society, of the products we use, of how we interact with each other and with the world. And what we build, change, improve is all happening through projects. But the way projects are managed is changing fast. The timelines are tighter. Often the stakes are higher. And even more importantly, AI is rapidly reshaping how work gets done. So to stay relevant, we need a profound transformation of the role of project professionals. You know that at Project Management Institute, our purpose is clear. We maximize project success to elevate our world. Now today, maximizing success means more than delivering on time, on budget, and on scope. It means creating value that people can see and feel, value that is worth the investment in time and money. Our profession has a massive opportunity to level up our impact. And that's why we're calling on the profession to step up, with M-O-R-E. M-O-R-E stands for Manage Perceptions, Own Success, Relentlessly Reassess, and Expand Perspective. Because we know that when we deliver M-O-R-E, and this is very clear in our research, more projects succeed, and we help businesses, governments, and any organization achieve their goals. PMI is here to help you step up. PMI is stepping up with the learning, the tools, the community, and the guidance to grow your impact, your confidence, and your career. But ultimately, each of you need to commit to step up. This is our moment. Let's step up together.
Yeah, that's a powerful message from Pierre. So when we see the geopolitical risk through the M.O.R.E lens, this is what I could come up with, some of the areas, and this is subject to further refinement, and I'm happy to have conversations around this during this, after this presentation or later. Like when you see from the perception lens, risk management and the force measure clarity, these are the two things which are very important. And of course, information security in the geopolitically volatile world. And then when you say about owning the success, who takes the project risk and how we navigate the constraints at the borders that are put, okay, whether it is through the sanctions with India's QCO kind of a regime, anything that stops in because these are certain things which generally we believe is not in our control, and or we think we want to pass on the risk. So it is not easy. That the risk, like energy, it can't dissipate. You have to manage it. May change its form and shape. Okay, so I'll speak briefly about that as well. And reassessing is coming back to the idea of second order, third order impacts. It can go to third, fourth, fifth order, but I think second and third is fairly good enough for us for now. And also seeing that how this freights, routes, tariffs, visas, forex movement is a huge thing. Actually, sometimes we don't understand how is the funding is happening, how you are buying, when where, how it is. Forex is rupee depreciated almost like 20% over the last 6 months. So if project is funded through dollar money, okay. But if money is in INR, your Indian project, Indian customer is doing, then their project cost have already gone up by anywhere between 5 to 6%, depending upon the extent of your forex based imported items directly involved. So there are we spoke about 30-40% of the project is import reliance, and these things do apart from tariffs. These forex is a very invisible factor in our costs. And expanding perspective is primarily looking at how is this talent material movement across happening, how the critical resources what we need, are they available or not available. So taking a little bigger picture. I don't worry about copper, where it comes from. You may, but Chile may be going through some social unrest, or there may be something else in Venezuela already happened. So how does it impact either positive or negative? So where are these mines and those resources for the thing is there, and we should be aware of it. Okay. So it is not about the right, wrong morality. It is about actually the reality of what is happening. So when you see each of the things happening around the world has got more often impacting one of these four pillars, and hence our project outcome. So that is the framework I want you to keep in mind, and as we go along. So managing perceptions, when we see here, like I mentioned, risk is one of the most important things. So how the risk is actually conveyed. If we say that, okay, one is that material is getting delayed, and second, be able to tell why it is getting impacted, and what is your level of certainty it is there or not there. Because most of the time when we go back and tell particular shipment is not coming, it is delayed, it is ships, they are not getting berth, or ship is taking more time, your stakeholders, it can be sponsors, it can be finance team, because your cash flow also can be impacted, price may be impacted. So everybody gets worried and they think differently. Oh, that we did not foresee. Could you not have foreseen? Where is your buffer? Is this buffer getting impacted, or your milestones are getting impacted? So will I get paid late? Will I spend more, less, more? So there are different people will have. So how you actually convey this risk and to the stakeholders to create that confidence is important. That means as a project manager, we have to think from the stakeholder perspective, from the different stakeholder 360-degree view, and then integrate that into our communication and create, manage that perceptions. So if we don't do that, people will actually start making their own stories, and then that will start impacting us. Okay, so when we do this, sometimes even the CFOs I have seen more often, and business owners come back and say, oh yeah, is this beyond our control? Can we not claim a force majeure clause? Okay, so this is one important thing that comes. And the other thing which I have seen very important is the information security. I will speak a little bit on that as we go along. So these are the three things that we will be speaking about: the contract risk sharing, force majeure, and information security. So when it comes to force majeure clause, it is generally, even in COVID times, because they could not use, many people wanted to claim a force majeure clause. Yes, you can claim it if your force majeure clause has to be drafted properly, and anything that is unexpected happens is not by default will save you. It has many times legally it is interpreted in a very narrowly. Actually, what is exactly mentioned? If war is mentioned, war. If there is a lightning strike is not mentioned, it will not be. So because it is not in your control, it doesn't mean automatically it happens. So everything has to be very carefully seen. Otherwise, you are exposing your risk. Okay. Sometimes if tariffs come, you cannot escape from the tariffs unless it is specifically mentioned either in your commercial terms or in your force majeure clauses. So many of things that happen outside world are not in our control, but we cannot be protected from every situation. So anything happens, it has to be immediately notified. That is why what we say 48 hours notification. Unless we notify and activate that force majeure clause, it will not be you cannot post facto go after 1 month and say, no, there was a force majeure situation, that's why I could not do. We have to say, I'm prevented from acting, so I seek protection under force majeure FM clause. Okay, and these things have to be ideally, as a managing perception means, as a project managers, we have to either as a receiving end or as a impacted. Some of our suppliers and contractors may claim force majeure. Okay, recently we have seen some rate contract item was there, but the contractor wanted to raise a force majeure clause because of the West Asia crisis. Their input material, which comes from China, the price has gone up by 50%. The component 50% may have multiple components. It has got raw material price increase, shipping increase, that insurance, and actually shortage was there, so there was a demand supply gap. So essentially they wanted to take a protection under force majeure. But actually when we saw the contract that was signed, these things were not coming under any direct impact for them. So it is not a war situation, they cannot prove. So it's a very ambiguous thing. So you may get a force majeure notice from your supplier or contractor, you should be clear. And in the similar way, if you are a performing organization, whether you can take a protection under that. So keeping these with stakeholder communication is very, very important as a project manager to do it. And the second is information security. See, many times we underestimate this aspect. In fact, there are many scoops in the Western media. They have picked up those news items by going to the what we call this buildings, the waste bins. When they were, they have a system of putting all this waste for pickup by city municipality every week. They have a fixed days, so they bring those plastic bags and keep outside, and then they do. So these journalists, they go and open those bags. The scraps of the paper they take, then they go and meticulously the shredded papers, they join together meticulously, and then they figure out what discussions happened. This is kind of things it happened. So this is one example in the physical thing I am telling, but with the digital, it is becoming more and more risky. So we are using today BIM models, digital twins. Everything is hosted in the cloud. Then you have all these cameras and everything, project monitoring. So everything is digital. So anywhere it leaks, it can go. If you are doing a data center project and something, is that project layouts or security systems or perimeter control, how it is done, if it is leaked. So there are many things that can happen with your information, and there are people who are deliberately sitting and trying to intrude into these systems. So there was another incident where Fitbit was used by US Army Corps, and they were doing a morning running, and somebody hacked into Fitbit system, and they figured out when there is a unusual movement of troops, they could track it. So that is the level of risk that in the world information tracking is there. How will it impact? There could be corporate espionage. There could be some kind of country to country level stealing the data, or it may be even you may be innocent victim of these things happening between two large companies or countries. They may have a issue, and that our project or project data or equipment may get impacted in this crossfire. So training the teams on the info security and how they should actually use these tools. There are many protocols now, whether it is a SOC 2 level or ISO standards, cyber security, whether these vendors are actually qualified to be using those. So don't blindly go and pick up any system. And once that hole is, in fact, the world is becoming so crazy. Some of you might have seen there is a Claude latest version. One version came. I am immediately not recollecting the name. So they figured out when they tested in the world, almost every prominent software has got a backend open now. Even the backdoors are open undetected for decades. They gave it to top 40 companies in US and told first let us fix it. You're all Microsoft and Google products and everything that you use today, Apple products are having can be hacked by the people systems. But they don't want it to release to everybody, because otherwise the world would have come crashing down now. So this is the kind of things that are there, and there are many ways that these projects can get caught up in this kind of a crossfires. So as a once that kind of incident happens, the trust that is lost is everything may be safe, but the perception that is formed is that no, here information is not secure. And that is a big drawback for the project manager to manage the risks. So that is why in the more when managing the perceptions, Primarily, these are the two things, but there could be many things like your risk registers and how you do it. But main two points in this pillar I would like to emphasize on. And in the second pillar of the owning the success, it is no, you can see like here, how this Iran war is disrupting everywhere. And a project manager, we can't say no. I checking the international prices, supply chains is not my scope. I can't. That is not what I am paid for, or that is not what I am trained at. Instead, you can say, okay, so if this is the thing, how we can study this? Maybe you can appoint a specialist consultant to study downstream effect if it's a 2 or 3 years project. What are the various ways we can indigenize or protect or make a plan B for key equipments, negotiate the rate contracts and keep them. And if their first party fails, how we can trigger it instead of going back to the square one. Okay, so one is about that is where we say that contract risk structure, risk reward sharing, risk sharing is very, very important. Risk doesn't vanish in the thin air. If we pass on too much risk to our contractors, it will come back to bite us in a different form. So in the same way about how the Indian regulatory, I have to say, but there will be few other things also, like it can be US, it can be China, it can be a few. There was an instance where Russia was invested in one company, and that company was supplying equipment, and that company was actually on the sanction list. So after placing the order, when you actually see that that company was under the sanctioned list, so you can't buy. So these are the kind of things which you how you actually manage international stipulations or sanctions, how you manage it. All these things come under this pillar, owning the success. So when you say primarily about the contract structuring, if we are saying that a contract structure locks the contractor into fixed price contract. So my point is that fixed price contracts are easy to execute, difficult to administer. If prices are going by 30%, 40%, how a contractor is expected to observe that? They won't observe. Either they will walk away, or they will come with excuses for not doing, or project will be delayed. So it's beyond a point, it will not be doable thing, right? So that is why, as a procurement, as a project management professionals, we need to see beyond 1 hour, 1 year, 1 year. Earlier, we used to have this extension of time, extension of cost escalation clauses for beyond 1 year government contracts had. But actually, it has to now today, even within 2 weeks, prices are changing. Rarely it is coming down, but more often it goes up. So to protect both parties, it has to be linked to some kind of a index, steel index, LME, copper index, or forex. Then how you can protect the owner organization? By hedging. So those are the things which as a project manager, we need to see to what extent we can hedge. And if the prices are overall going up, there is no way that only one party can take the all the hit. So that is why we need to also keep some contingency against this. This is not a project variable contingency or unforeseen things or design changes, requirement changes. It is a contingency for the geopolitical events. So there should be a separate bucket, and whenever such things happen, you can pull out and do it. So these are some ways that we will have to think in a different way how we actually risk sharing happens, so that it is not one-sided contract. And other one is about the QCO regimes. This has been going up and down. Some of these products which were about 700, government is tuning down because it has become very difficult, in fact, to administer. Some of these, of course, cement we don't import so much, hardly about less than 10%. But a lot of steel products, they were wanted to actually get a BAS certificate. The manufacturing happening place, BAS has to go and inspect, it was taking almost an year to get all these things sorted. So if anything is not clear, even a small variation is there, then material is getting stuck. So as a why it is happening and how this can be managed is may not be a temporary regime, but it could be a long-term impact is there. So as a project managers, we have to create a different workflow where the items are under QCO list. And this list is getting added. Some industry bodies are textile, I think, is negotiated or lobbied to get a lot of those items removed from there. So a lot of electronic items are there, cameras, electronic items, those things are all still in this list, so that each batch has to be certified and then it has to get a BA certification. It is not a whole product line will be done. So because even a small change in the product, again, it has to go through. So it's a very complicated system to administer. Government has brought in because we don't wanted a dumping of low quality products without any checks and balances. But projects will get impacted if these things are not managed. This is one example of it. So as a project managers, we have to think multiple areas where it is impacting. Some quick time check, I think under 10 minutes, Arvind.
Yeah, we have 10 minutes.
Yeah. So other is a reassessing. It is a primarily change management, risk assessment, ecosystem. So earlier it used to be, we used to say every 3 months at least you should see the risk register review. I think now it is becoming every 2 weeks also you have to do. So whichever the frequency, depending upon the situation, you should review the risk registers. And because things are dynamic, especially when more and more, and I'm only speaking about the global things, but within the country also risks are changing. If there are elections, there are festivals, how the labor movement is happening, how the if one part of the country is booming with construction, entire cement or steel is getting sucked up by that side. So how is the other places supply chains are coming? So it is not necessarily India is a diverse large country. We have within us also that is there. But most of the time what we ignore is a global perspective, and today I'm mostly concentrated speaking about that. Okay, so like I spoke earlier, those screenshots on the right, you can see some of these market forces is happening. So when mentioned like Ukraine and Russia war happened, the explosives became a very short supply and high price. And similarly, the Madhya Pradesh Adani factory, this plant, because of Middle East things, they didn't get an LPG to boiler light up to start the thermal plant, and then they had a lot of skilled people, they could not come, and all this got pushed this by almost like 1 year. So this is some of the stark examples of that it is happening. And with this, the insurance, freight rates, everything is what we spoke about increasing, and it is impacting the time cost and even the certainty. In fact, there was a news item, I do not know how far it is true. The Niti Aayog has told that, okay, let us all major works, let us wherever we can stop. It pertains to government, actually, government projects, but wherever it is avoidable, let us not do it, because the shortage, actually what we say, there is a lead time even for the impact to be visible, because there is a material which are manufactured before the crisis comes. They are in the transit, they come to the destination warehouses, then they get sold. So not that everything is only built for order. So many of these things are done at a 6 months advance estimate, because manufacturing takes time, shipping and all that. So a lot of supplies have been not visible, impact was not there, because it takes about 6 months to get all this supply chain life cycle also to get through the end customer. So without becoming panic kind of thing, but we have to be alert, because more and more shortages, supply chain and price increases, are going to be visible as we go along on the route. So we need to be aware and prepare for ourselves for that things. So tariffs has been largely we spoke about it. So whether it is a steel, whether semi knockdown condition, and now more and more materials, because of this volatility. Apart from the tariffs, even the countries are restricting export. They are putting export duties because they don't want valuable materials to go out of their country. They are putting export ban. China has put export ban on some of these petroleum products. Some of you might have heard, but while it is not directly construction related, ATF fuel, many countries were not ready to fuel the flights that they are landing into their country because they say we don't have a ATF fuel. Why will we give you? So this kind of when countries see that they have resource which is going short supply, they themselves will stop actually export of them. So how we review this kind of a material based on the project, your BOQ line items, you have to see each of the terms, you have to, each of the line item, what kind of materials are there, and is there any tariff risk or border risks are there. So this is something that team have to get some kind of a taking one step back once a month, review this kind of a high sensitivity items is a good practice to do it. Okay, and manpower movement is another thing. Some of you who might have traveled, you've seen sometimes these visas don't come. Even if they come, it takes time. And if there is a project is delayed and your talent is unavailable and they can't get a visa, and then it again goes back and forth. So this whole thing will upset the project, like you've seen in the Adani project I mentioned. So how to either in that case, what are the ways about doing it? Can you send your person there to get trained and come back? Or is there any other country which has a easy visa regime that as a plan B or as an alternate resource they are available? So these are the some ways that when your manpower movement is also impacted, you will have to see. While in India it is not that acute, but in some countries, even the blue collar construction workforce availability is also a big problem. In fact, India also it is a problem, but not because of international issues within the domestic. There was a news item that recently Telangana, the Andhra capital project happening. Their estimate is about 30,000 people required, but they had about 20,000 people. So that is the manpower, not necessarily about the international movement, but it happens for multiple reasons. There is a as such there is a shortfall, and then there are a lot of socio-economic issues that are happening within the country, due to which the people are not migrating the way they used to do. And then you have a summer factor, then you have festival factor, then marriage factors, then elections. So all these things pull people back and forth from their native places. So within India. So talent availability based on the geopolitical risk internationally is more acute because we don't understand many times why they don't get it a visa. But they may, if somebody has to travel to a country which is not having a very friendly relation with India, and they may not get a visa, that you may not know unless you are aware of what are the risks involved in a geopolitical. No, I hope you are getting the point why I'm trying to make. So we don't want people to come via other third-party adversarial countries. Okay, yeah. So these are the three pillars. The last pillar is expand perspectives. So this is more about actually how we can see beyond the day-to-day project management. So whether it is we spoke about sanctions, whether it is export restrictions. Okay, now how the dollar to currencies, what kind of currencies you can buy and sell, whether it is on the sanction list, so entities, all those things are required, and making the the vendors' KYC, their funding sources. So sometimes the whole availability of the forex itself is a challenge. Recently, you might have seen government leaders requesting people not to travel outside. So the same way, if you want to buy products, you may not necessarily having enough forex for you to buy. So keeping actually this kind of things in the bigger perspective and looking for alternates. Okay, so these are the three key things: rare metals, hydrocarbons, and semiconductors. Construction projects will be dictated by the availability or lack of it between them. If you see rare metals, already we spoke about China, how they stopped export, how Indonesia also, they had nickel that they banned. So how will you make a steel? Okay, so these are the things like bitumen, paint, varnish, fuels, ATF. Okay, so these are the very unseen things behind the scenes, how it is impacting. So when you bring these things together, when you see between all the four pillars, there are different actions and different levers that you can bucket and act on it. And in a nutshell, if I have to summarize, it is beyond scope, time, and cost. It is, we need to see how we actually, what is the project success means, and where we can actually bring that level of confidence and value creation for our customers. So there is the risk lies actually in second, third, fourth order impact of the geopolitical risk. Okay, and whether it's a force majeure, whether it is a fixed price contract, whether it is insurance risks, these are all have a hidden meaning for each one. So we cannot expect any one to solve all our problems. The more actively we become aware and manage the risk, it becomes that much more, primarily as a project manager, how we can instill that confidence in our stakeholders that we are on top of it. Okay, so whether it is you take 15 minutes every week or 1 hour every month, how you bring this conversation around the table and speak, the whole point of speaking itself opens up more opportunities to have conversations. So this is in brief about my thoughts. If I can take a couple of minutes to share about construction PMICP program that PMI has brought in. This is a specifically for construction professionals. It is there. You can look up the internet website of the PMI. You will get more details. There is two programs. One is called foundational program, and the second is an advanced program. These are having a training material and online training, and then you write exam. So if you do these three programs, you become advanced. There are a lot of detailed information is there. This is done with a collaboration with 13 global organizations like Lean Construction, Construction Institute, and then they brought together very, very relevant, very specific to this. Anybody doing this will not get this kind of material at one place. Whether it's a lean principles, whether it is a CII, PDRA schemes, and many other such. L&T from India also contributed to this. They are one of them. Okay, so if you're interested, please look up this on PMI website. You will get a lot more information. And anybody with 3 years experience, they can do this. Thank you for time and giving me this opportunity to share my thoughts on how project managers can benefit from the geopolitical intelligence.
Yeah, thank you, Sai. That's a great session. You have nicely put us, insights into what geopolitical, the factors, and bundling it with the framework. I'm sure everyone has got a, opportunity to learn and gain from it. In the interest of the time, we will take 1 or 2 questions, and then we'll move forward with the rest of the agenda. Mani, would you like to take the questions, please?
Yeah. So we have a question from Ramana asking, will the sanctions imposed by powerful countries like US also have impact on the supplies of key equipment?
I'm sorry, can you repeat your question?
Of course. The question goes as, will the sanctions imposed by powerful countries like US have or also has an impact on the supplies of key equipment?
Oh, it depends on whom they put the supply sanctions, and sanctions are two kinds, on the companies and also on the countries. So individuals, in fact, sorry, companies and individuals. So it's possible that some sanctions may impact, and it depends on whom you are buying from and who are their beneficial owners of it. So in the international relations, the concept of ultimate beneficial owner comes. So there are some high risk countries, some medium risk countries, and you have to see from whose perspective are you seeing this as a high risk and low risk. And today international trade is largely controlled by SWIFT system, which is US controlled, but more and more those are shifting towards BRICS models. So you got to, if you are sanctions on the company and individuals, if a ultimate beneficiary is an individual who is sanctioned, who or she is sanctioned, then you will not be able to buy equipment from that supplier.
Ramana, I hope that answers your question. With that, we are done here, Sesha. Over to you, Arvind.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you all, for the the interaction. And if any questions, please feel free to reach out to Sesha Sai offline. We can. I'm sure you would benefit more from his experience. And thank you, Sesha Sai, for sharing your experience and wisdom. As a token of appreciation, Pearl City Hyderabad chapter has honored you with a 5 trees planted your name for red pandas at Sikkim, India. Thank you for growing the knowledge and sustainability with us. It's a great honor to have you here and to listen from you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So now we will move forward to our next agenda for the day. We have a member talk from one of